Welcome everyone to Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Hello!
Hello, hello.
Good to see everyone here again.
All right, here we are, another fun-filled night of craziness in the carnival. My name is Rob. I am the dungeon master for this game. I'm running this crazy group of children, now adults, who are tracking their lost things and lost family members into the carnival and perhaps beyond. Let's do a quick introduction, and then let's chat a little bit about like where we are. And let's start real quick. Chad, let's start with you.
Hi everybody, my name is Chad. I am playing Samarand Ludd, lovable half-elf rogue. Where am I? It's been a trying couple of years for Sam, but it seems like they're making progress. They're not getting answers, but they're moving forward. They're doing something, and he's excited and energized by that.
All right, Ashton.
Yeah, Thorn is excited to have a lead, but frustrated that it's not moving more quickly. I think it was reasonable to expect that answers would not fall into our laps as soon as the Witchlight Carnival returned, but I think he sort of feels like he's being asked to run through a 3-ring circus, quite literally, to get answers about his mom. And he's like, look, I just want answers about my mom. Who do I have to squeeze until they give me answers?
We'll talk about that in a minute, and that is definitely a part of this story that can be very challenging, in that you kind of know what you're looking for, and nobody wants to talk to you until you've really jumped through hoops to do it. Let's go to Callie.
Hi everyone, I'm Callie. I play Tana. Tana, this kind of inquisitive gnome, barbarian, elder sister to a bunch of orphans, is very interested in what's happening at the carnival. She feels like this is go time. She's been waiting 8 years for this. Everything inside her is vibrating. She's trying to do her best. She's taking notes, taking names, and she's right now pretty excited, not frustrated yet, because she still feels like there's plenty of night ahead of her.
All right. Last but not least, Brandon.
Well, Cleric should always show up towards the end of the initiative order. Hi, my name is Brandon. I play Sophia Eventide, the Twilight Cleric of Seluna. And Seluna is known for being a peaceful goddess of moonlight and nighttime. But like the moon has its phases, Seluna has her phases as well, and is also known for her rage. And Sophia is starting to channel that a little bit. She's starting to feel it. Not like I'm going to start a fight, so don't worry about rolling initiative just yet. But she's starting to feel frustrated by this time in the carnival without answers. So she's kind of feeling like Thorn is. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about that, like where we are. You've been at the carnival now for a few hours. This is your second visit now as adults. When you first arrived, you thought maybe you'd be able to just find some people, get some answers, and everyone you talk to has been giving you a little bit of the runaround. There have been a few allies that you have met. For instance, Durla, the Displacer Beast, kind of gave you a few hints early on, but also gave you sort of your first disappointment in that there were things that she said the Witchlight Hands can't talk about. And Sam has figured this out as well, in that he can't remember certain things. And part of that is that he can't really remember the rules, like all of them that existed before. And it's possible that whatever deal he made to join the carnival has something to do with that, to prevent people from, it's sort of like a non-disclosure agreement. When you join the carnival and you leave, there's no bad talk in the carnival because you can't. Magic prevents you from doing it. But let's talk a little bit about like where you've come since that first that first re-arrival at the carnival. You've met with a few people. You've learned a few things. Where do you think you stand right now? What have you learned about what happened to your parents? Maybe the reason you're here.
Well, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was that while Mr. Witch and Mr. Light are running this carnival, there is something above them that seems to be a more ominous presence and maybe has more to do with all of the things going missing. And so that there's a bigger power at play here than just the shenanigans that we see going on and are experiencing ourselves.
Yeah. Anybody else want to weigh in on that?
There's definitely something larger, something out of their control. And they seem to know there's a problem. Right?
They do. They know that there's a problem. That was confirmed by Kettlestein, who had spied on them 8 years ago and had heard a conversation between the two of them where they were discussing some problems they were having at the carnival and a deal that they had made that they weren't especially happy about, but were bound to honor.
And there was some mention of the Hourglass Coven.
Mm-hmm.
Was the deal made with them, or were they mentioned separately?
You're not entirely certain. The words that Kettlestein used seem to indicate that this coven is somehow involved. You don't know if they've made a deal with this coven. You do know that the carnival has. So Kettlestein, I should say, is a warlock with a patron, an archfey patron named Zybilna, who is the archfey that rules Prismere. That is also connected to the carnival. And Zybilna is basically the patron for the carnival as well. So if Mr. Light and Mr. Witch are bound by some sort of a pact, you would think that would be related to Zybilna. But the Hourglass Coven is this mystery that you haven't quite figured out now. Like, how are they involved? Is there another person that is now has leverage over Mr. Witch and Mr. Light in the carnival? That has come from Kettlestein, and Kettlestein doesn't know either. Kettlestein has told you that his patron, Zybilna, hasn't communicated with him in years. And that's one of the reasons that that he and your family members, Mavra and Morgana is sort of secondary, and Silphira's father, Threnfir. It's the reason they came to the carnival 8 years ago. It was one of the reasons. There were two reasons they came, though. Do you remember the second one?
They had lost touch with the patron, and then something to do with the caller, Morgan's father.
Yeah, Morgana's father is this mysterious figure that met her mother at some point in the distant past at the carnival, and Morgana was the product of that union. Mm-hmm. And she, so there's two things now. Morgana started looking into her father. Strange things started to happen to her. Bad things started happening to her family. And she went to her old friends. Mavra was one of them. Kettlestein was another. They were like an adventuring party years ago. And so they got together to go back to the carnival to try to find out what had happened, like why Zybilna is not contacting them, not communicating with them. And they figure that because the carnival is connected to Prismere, and Mr. Witch and Mr. Light have their own pact with Prismere and in turn Zybilna, they should know what's going on.
Do we know Morgana's father's name?
You don't. The only thing that you've heard is that Kettlestein said that they don't know his name. They know that he is associated with the carnival, and the only name that they've heard associated with him is the caller.
And that's Morgana's father.
That's what they think.
Okay.
It's another mystery that they never were able to unravel. And in the process, vanished into the carnival 8 years ago.
Mm.
Is that collar like one who calls or something you wear around your neck?
One who calls.
Okay.
Do we know yet how the Hourglass Coven and Zybilna are connected?
You don't. You don't even know what the Hourglass Coven is yet.
Okay.
You do know or suspect, I think someone made a good roll in the last game, that that covens are associated with witches. You don't know if it's then a nickname for a group that is using that, or if it's an actual coven of witches.
Okay, cool.
In the last game, we were sort of ending off with, as I recall, you were sent to the carousel by someone who had said that the unicorns in the carousel don't. They're not bound by the same laws that the rest of the carnival is.
Right.
And that the unicorns are smart. They're animated creatures, but they have personalities. They're intelligent. They're like awakened, animated objects that have been with the carnival for years and years. In fact, they've been with them so long that maintenance on them has kind of fallen into disrepair. Do you remember why you were? Because the last game ended with you coming to the carousel, actually starting a bit of a parade to like raise the spirits in the carnival. Sam had become sort of like I think you guys were throwing candy around, and
we brought a candy rave to the carousel.
You did. You brought the candy rave to the carousel. You led like this huge group of children to the carousel, which wasn't seeing a whole lot of people before because it's a little kind of old and maybe
we're the aunt and the uncle that gets your kids all hyped up on sugar and then drops them back off with you like, oh, here you go. Bye.
Another thing that I did want to do with those kids was teach them an annoyingly repetitive song so that they would just like sing that everywhere. Like the 1-800 Cars for Kids jingle.
Yeah, the song that never ends.
Baby Shark, you mean? You're gonna Baby Shark this carnival?
I was trying to come up with something. I was like, Baby Slod.
Baby Slod would work too.
I feel like there's something there.
Baby Rock. I don't know.
No.
That would be interesting. So, Sam, are you actually doing that, or is this a joke?
No, I do want to do that.
You want to do that? Do you want to do that now? Because you guys had just sort of you had just met also with Diana, who runs the carousel, and she had agreed to basically, once the kids had gone through, put a sign up to basically say, closed for some maintenance, and give you guys some time to try to talk to the unicorns. She'd also told you that they weren't very talkative for the last few years, that she's been working the ride because they don't remember all of their names, and that makes them sad. And they've been trying to get people to help them remember, but no one has been able to help them so far.
Interesting.
All right.
So let's go do some unicorn therapy.
All right. Are we ready? We're ready for some unicorn carousel therapy. Any other questions about what's going on before we move forward? Any other sort of lingering questions?
I do remember, too, that every night they crown a Witchlight Monarch.
Yes.
For someone who does something especially unique or creates a lot of joy. So I think that's one of the spurs for us creating the Child Candy Rave.
That is one of the things. And that is, yes, that's important, too. That's something you had considered in the last game, is that you were going to try to have one of you crowned the Witchlight Monarch at the end of the night, because Mr. Witch and Mr. Light are obligated to basically have like a private meeting with them, to basically congratulate them on being, this thing that has lifted the spirits of the carnival, the shining light of the place for the night. It's kind of like part of their personal rules, and that if you can do that, that's just maybe your chance to deal with them one-on-one. You also know that they don't choose the monarch, that the Witchlight Vein chooses the monarch, and the vein is held by Mr. Light. So at the end of the night, even if they don't want to meet with you and they want nothing to do with you, if the vein chooses you, they have to abide by it.
All right.
Now there was a plan B too, right? Like we're going to do what we can to try to get that tonight, and if it doesn't work.
Yes, I believe your plan B was suggested by Burley, the bugbear. He said you met with him in the Big Top after you had dealt with Kettlesteam, and you were trying to get yourselves into the back, and the Witchlight hands were not being cooperative. And then Burley called you over and had noted that you were sort of making waves a little bit in the carnival, that you were trying to get to see Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. And he told you that he noticed things were off in the carnival over the last few years as well, and things were getting darker. And he wanted to help you. And his suggestion, which is a little bit risky, is to find some way of stealing Mr. Witch's watch or stealing Mr. Light's Witchlight vein, with the idea that if you can get those things, one of them, then that would be the leverage to force them to deal with you, to talk to you, because Burley believes that that they wouldn't fight you for them. They wouldn't, especially like in public, like they would have to deal with you.
All right. So that's plan B, is
plan B.
violent.
Then violent or sneaky, depending on.
Or sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think B is sneaky. C is violence.
Okay.
That's actually plan T and T, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It might be T and T versus T, because violent might just end up with all of you, fighting Thaco and a bunch of Witchlight hands to burst your way into the back.
Oh, man.
And
Lawful good coming in here. So what I'm hearing is plan A, candy rave for children. Plan B, crime.
Plan C, potential murder.
So worse. You see how that's worse, right?
you guys haven't quite
We're
figured out
starting
that
with
you
the
should
good
not tell
options.
plan B and plan C to the lawful good person in the party. That's when you send Sophia for candy floss, and then you're like, all right, here's the real plan.
No,
Right.
no. Don't use my weakness against me. That's not fair.
We will use your weakness against you.
No.
That's why I'm here.
All right, so back to where we were then. I think that is a pretty thorough sum up of the situation. And the current event is that you have arrived now at the carousel, and you've been given this shot to speak to the unicorns. You sit around for long enough for the children to make their way through, so there's not a line anymore. And then Diana puts up this sign and tells those that are just arriving, I'll return in 10, 15 minutes, just to make sure that there's no splinters on the ride, and that everything's working in order. So someone sort of threw up in the back. We'll just clean it up. We'll be open in a few more minutes.
All right, my little Luddites, I'll be with you in 20 minutes.
There's like a collective, yay, where to next? From this group of kids that Sam has been rabble rousing on the side. Does Sam give them a direction, meet me here in 20 minutes or something? Or is it just
No.
are they going to just be hanging around the carousel?
Don't worry, I'll find you.
All right.
Listen for the whistling.
Good. All right. So you approach the carousel, and you can see that there are 4 pair of unicorns that are set around this circular platform. Diana says that before you kind of go and approach them, she says, I think some of their names are still intact. You'll be able to read them on their tags. But others mostly have worn off. You might see a letter or two to give you a hint. And I've never been good with these things. And I've heard that somebody told me that there's proverbs or something that's involved with how they named them originally. I don't really understand what that is, but good luck to you. And she kind of backs away and gives you the stage.
Thank you.
All right. And as you approach, you see that these unicorns, she gives you a little pail with a brush, and she says, make sure that you write their names in. Otherwise, they just might forget them again. And when you approach, you see that they're laid out in pairs, 2 unicorns, on each sort of side of this carousel. There's 8 total. When you approach, they're kind of just sitting there. When you get real close, you notice their eyes on some of them kind of follow you a little bit. They're kind of pretending like they're statues at the moment. That's part of the attraction, is that they pretend to be nothing, and then when the kids get on and it starts to move, they leap into life and kind of surprise everybody, and then start throwing their manes and become part of the show. Right now, they're in that sort of I'm a statue phase.
I wink
Who's
at one.
approaching? Its eyes are on you for a second, and they just turn away.
I would like to approach one and try to find a damaged or cracked area on it. Does it look like it's made of wood?
They look like they're made of wood, yes. That's a little bit weathered in some places, but still, like, I mean, they look old, but they're still in good enough condition to ride. But like a lot of the paint is kind of flecked off in some areas.
Would mending repair paint?
I don't think so. I think mending's limited to a pretty small area.
Yeah, because like if you repair a book, it doesn't replace the text and the page.
No. So, well, we'll say that mending can work a little bit. Like you can shine them up a little bit with mending.
Okay.
And we'll say that
pretty
you're
much
doing
what I
that.
would be doing right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Just-
Maybe
just
cleaning them
mending.
up, restoring them a little bit. How long does mending take? It's like a minute or 10 minutes or something like that.
I believe
I
it's
think it's
1
just-
minute.
1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute. On touch.
I think it's the other spell, the make whole, that's takes longer. I think it's another spell, a higher level one that takes 10 minutes. All right. So as you're looking at the first two in this group of unicorns, are all of you kind of just taking a different pair and looking through them, or all right? We'll start with Sophia then, since you've approached one and are getting this going. You look at the first two, and you can see that one has a name tag that is still clear enough to be read, and it reads Fortune. You look at the one next to it, and most of the name tag has been kind of rubbed off, but you can make out the first letter of its name, which starts with a B, as in Barney.
I'll start with that one, and I'll lean down really close, and I'll start casting mending, and I'll whisper to it, B, is your name Bravery?
Its eyes kind of twitch a little bit. And then it sort of kind of whispers through its teeth. I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar. It's still sort of pretending to be like, a statue.
Can I jump in on this, or is Sophia there by herself?
You are all up there. You can be wherever you want at this point. And you're only at the furthest, you're probably 12 feet away. But if you want to be with Sophia, you can be.
Sure. I will rumble, try bold.
And you hear, like, before Sophia, you get the chance to say that, like, Thorn's voice is loud enough to be heard probably, all the way around this entire carousel, like 10, 20 feet away. And the unicorn that you're in front of suddenly moves its head. It says, oh, yes, bold. That's it, bold. My name's Bold. I'm bold.
I like
Yes, I'm
this
bold.
one.
That was great, Thorn. Wow.
Really
Thank you.
good.
Oh, thanks.
So, do you think Fortune favors Bold a little? Is that
The one horse on the left kind of whinnies a little bit. It seems like it might be slightly coy about the situation.
In a whisper, I say, I think she likes you.
Turns its big horse eyes at it and kind of winks. And the other one's like, oh, yes, she does. I remember now. And you begin like marking this tag with bold, and it seems very happy. There's the second pair behind them are like, ooh, us, can you help us? Can you help us? And they're still like kind of just whispering through their teeth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
All right. You move to the next pair, and you see that one of their tags, the one that's complete, reads Fall, F-A-L-L. And the other one, you can read out just the first two letters. On this one, it's P-R.
Pride.
Oh, pride. Yes. Even better than bold, that one says. And bold kind of turns around and kind of gives a little snicker. And the two begin kind of talking to each other again. And Fall says to the one, pride, right? Pride. And the other one's like, yes. And you're Fall. You come first. And they begin sort of like coming back to life in a way, like they're kind of cantering in place and seeming pretty happy about this. And Pride says, quick, well, write my name down on the tag so I don't forget. There are two other pairs, the third pair and the fourth pair. All of them are kind of at this point, like kind of muttering like, oh, us next. Who goes?
I'm just keeping the mending train going.
Mending train going. You move on to the next. We'll just say that you guys are working as a group. It seems like that's working well for you. The third pair, you see that one tag reads stone, and the second tag, you can make out two letters, the first and the last, M and S. M at the beginning of the name, S at the end.
Moss.
Moss, that's it. Yes, a moss.
Got one. Yeah.
And Stone is like, good show. You figured it out. And the last two are kind of behind them, are kind of like, right now they're kind of pulling at the poles that are like keeping them from going anywhere to try to get you to come to them. Like, now us. This one, quick help. And the last horse just volunteers right off the bat. Says, my name's Stitch. That one is, And you look over and you see that the one whose tag is rubbed off only has one letter. It's kind of near the end, and it's an N.
Nine?
Stitch was the first one?
9. That's it. 9. You're number 9. And that one is like, yes, I am. I'm number 9. And it looks around and then it says, but if I'm 9, there's only 8 of us. That means we're missing someone. And the one next to it's like, no. There's just 8 of us, but you're just named after a number. It's not the number that we are. I don't think so. I don't ever remember there being a 1.
Yeah.
I don't get it. How do those go together?
A stitch in time saves 9. He looks so pleased.
9 what, though?
9 stitches.
The horses are like, yes, stitches.
Oh.
You wonder if they even know.
Oh, I was going to go with snitches. Because snitches get stitches, right?
Sam, did
Sam.
you say 9 before I did?
Well, yeah, I did. But,
I thought
who's
so.
keeping count?
So you have managed to get all of their names down. They're all at this point happy and animated. You've, I'm assuming, gone through with the brush, painted their names back in. And what do you want to do? Right now, they have no idea like why you're here. You haven't said anything to them yet, and they're just kind of talking amongst each other, remembering their names and talking about sort of the past. They're kind of just gossiping to each other.
And I tried to feed Moss some candy.
You can try.
Like a sugar cube kind of thing, like hold my hand out with like a butterscotch in there.
You try, but this is not a horse that really eats, but it sort of mimics the idea that it's like licking this little cube in your hand, but it's like this wooden tongue that sort of just rubs along your candy. It kind of knocks it out of your hand eventually.
I'll go up to the first. Oh, go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
I was just going to ask, how long have you been here?
Oh, years and years, and almost the beginning of the carnival. Back before the owners that currently own it, back before Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. Back with the original
Who owned
owner.
it before Mr. Witch and Mr. Light?
Oh, nice lady, a nice lady.
What perhaps was her name?
Oh, we're not supposed to say that.
Well, what can you tell us?
Oh, all sorts of other things. But when she was in charge, the rules are a little bit harsher. Mr. Witch and Mr. Light, they kind of opened up on things, and well, actually, they didn't really give us any rules at all. And she only had a few. And Mr. Light have they've made their own. But well, we're sort of free agents. We can do whatever we like. And one of them says, except leave the carnival. And the other one's like, well, yes, or the platform.
But within the bounds of this platform, you're free to do whatever you like.
Yes.
Which means you can tell us whatever we want to know.
If we know it.
Do you know the name of the lady who owned the place before Mr. Witch and Mr. Light?
We do.
Can you tell us?
No. That's a secret we're not supposed to tell. She was our friend. Close friend. And to tell you the truth, she was a bit scary. Carried around this red sword. It kind of glowed, kind of meanly. Yeah, you didn't want to get on her bad side. Mr. Witch and Mr. Light, they're kind of pushovers compared to her.
I'm going to say a name. And can you nod or shake your head if that name is the person who owned the carnival before?
Maybe.
Maybe. Sorry, real quick. Do we as characters, know of Sibylna?
Do you know the name Sibylna? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was told you by Kettlestein.
Yeah, Kettlestein told us about her.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check that I wasn't metagaming.
No, you were not.
I lean in close and I whisper the name Sibylna.
And they shake their head.
Thank you. Pet, pet, pet.
One of them says, yes, we can tell you that it was not Sibylna. Although she enchanted us with the help of one of her sisters.
Sibylna did.
Well, more like directed her sister to do it. Long, long time ago.
What's her sister's name?
Her sister? Oh, that's Skibatha Nightshade. They call her Granny Nightshade. Ooh, she was a mean old hag, but very good with toys and animating things. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That
very
sounds
good. Very
horrifying.
good. Oh, yes. She is kind of horrifying. I heard she sleeps in a dollhouse. And what else was that? She kind of looks over at the other horses, and they start kind of like just talking like about this Granny Nightshade. And one says, oh, yes. Well, I think that she rules thither now. And the other one says, oh, yes. And she has this weird curse. I don't know where it came from, but she can't remember the first creature that she sees when she wakes up. Very strange. And one of them says, oh, yes. And she has a thief. There's a thief here in the carnival that works for her. Her name is Sow Pig. Looks like a little girl with a pig mask. She's no little girl.
I turn to Sam.
We've
Sam.
seen her.
Oh, you've seen her. Ooh. Oh, did she steal from you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's sad. We're sad about that.
Wait, sorry. You said her name was Sow Breath?
Sow Pig. She wears a pig mask. She's not really a little girl. She's more like a zombie or like a skeleton. And one of them's like, no, she's a ghoul.
I believe she's Fae.
Well, she could be that too, I suppose.
Maybe the Dark Fae.
True. And Fae be
Definitely
undead?
dark Fae.
Oh, no.
Temporarily.
Oh.
They can look like it.
Well, no. So here's a question. This Sow Pig, does she stay with the carnival all the time, or does she just flit about of her own volition?
Oh, I think she goes back and forth. From hither to thither and yon, maybe. She lives in thither with Granny Nightshade. And the other one says, no, hither belongs to Bavlorna. And another one says, and yon, that belongs to Endelyn Moongrave.
To who, I'm sorry?
Endelyn Moongrave. Surprised you don't know any of this. All three of them, they're part of the Hourglass Coven.
Are they all that is the Hourglass Coven, or are they more?
Well, I think that they are now. They're sisters of Sibylna, but they turned on her, from what we understand. Locked Sibylna away in her palace, and then split up her realm between the three of them. Sad story, so sad. Maybe someday Sibylna will return, or maybe not.
That is a very interesting piece of information.
That is.
Is it now?
Who did you say Hither belongs to?
Hither? Oh, that belongs to Bavlorna Blightstraw. Yeah, she looks a little bit like a frog, like a lady frog, if there's such a thing.
My eyes get really wide at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just elbow Thorn in the thigh.
Rides around on a lily pad when she's not bathing in her pool of goo.
What, Tana?
The frog? Remember?
Oh, yeah. It looked like a frog.
You saw a frog? Wow, you must have seen the Lornlings then. Or one of them.
What are Lornlings?
They're like little simulacrums or something like that. Bavlorna creates them. They look like her, but they're tiny. And they're her thieves in the carnival. If you see them, watch out. They'll steal something from you.
Oh, they definitely took something from me. And if I ever see one of them again, I swear.
Which is the one that looks like a shadow?
Oh,
I'm sorry,
no,
Sam.
that's Gleam.
Gleam?
I'm surprised you've seen Gleam. Well, Gleam used to work at the carnival with her sister. Long time ago. But, well...
Who did she work for?
Well, Gleam is Endlin Moongrave's thief. It's not really Gleam, it's just her shadow. Endlin stole it from her. At least, that's what I think. Because I haven't seen the rest of Gleam in years. Only her shadow, slipping through the carnival.
It can
I
do
don't-
that?
So much info. Holy shit.
And Mr. Witch and Mr. Light can't do anything about it, huh?
Oh no, says Pride. They can't. Can't do a darn thing, unfortunately. Made a deal with the Coven, or at least I think they did. Not entirely certain the rules of the deal as they made. I don't know if it's from Sibilda or with the Hourglass Coven itself, but if the Hourglass Coven is in charge of Prismere, as they sort of are in 3 parts, then I suppose that they are under the rule of the Coven as well.
Do you know any ways from the carnival to other places other than going out that main gate or however the carnival travels around?
No, unfortunately, we never leave this area. We hear things. I know that Mr. Witch and Mr. Light know the way. They control it. There might be someone else in the carnival that remembers. Maybe Thaco the clown knows. He's never far from Mr. Light.
We've heard bad things about him.
Oh, yes, he's mean. Likes to punch people and things.
So, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. So, Granny Nightshade, Pavlona Brightstraw, and Endlin Moongrave, they're the Hourglass Coven?
Oh, yes, they are. They're the Hourglass Coven. And if you've seen their thieves and their thieves stole something from you, well, then they'll have it. Because they're thieves. They take their things back to their masters.
Do they ever come here?
Ooh, the Coven?
3 sisters, yeah.
Oh, never. No, they only send the thieves.
Okay.
At least, I've never seen them here.
That makes some sense if they're rulers of an entire realm.
Oh, yes, they have it. As rulers of their realms, they have very vast powers, too.
Mm.
Well, it sounds like this Pavlovna Blightstraw has our things, Tana. She has
I
your
know.
dreams.
I know, I want them back.
My sense of hot and cold.
Why don't they even want those things?
I don't know.
The horses are like, why do hags do anything? Like, they're just evil. They like the suffering of other people, to feel they're in control. Maybe they hold on to them in case someone ever comes to them, and then they can make a deal to give them back.
Well, we're coming to her.
Maybe they cobble them together to make a whole person.
Not like
that's
sounds
just
horrifying.
the worst thing I've ever heard you say, Thorn.
That is terrifying.
Just one whole person made out of other people's stolen bits? What is wrong with you?
He's a metalsmith. He puts things together. He makes things out of other things. I don't think it's as gross in his head.
You mean like a people alloy?
I mean, if I could work with souls and dreams the way I work with metal, I don't know.
I mean, we don't know what they can do there. It's a whole nother place.
I'm not saying I like it.
Well, you must sound a little bit like a hag yourself. Thinking about taking people's things and building other things with them. That's sort of what Granny Nightshade did. That's how we were made, I believe. Cut down some trees, infused us with some sort of spirits.
Well, there you go then.
A new idea.
But I need my sense of temperature. I don't want that to belong to some other cobbled together being.
Yeah, that's fair. I have to sip your tea every time you want tea to make sure you don't hurt yourself. It comes up more than you think. All right. So we got some ideas here.
You do have some ideas. You've learned some things about the Hourglass Coven. Any other questions?
If we can keep it all straight.
I don't know if I can. And I even wrote a lot of it down.
The unicorns are willing to tell you more, too, now that you help them. They're like sort of this font of information. And you're like, oh, you really want to know about all of the Hourglass Coven, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. We've heard all sorts of rumors about them.
Oh.
But we've heard that, well, for instance, Bavlorna, like her lair is this cottage, and it's built on stilts in a swamp somewhere. And she's surrounded by like a kingdom of frog people. That's what we've heard. And that all worship her. And we've also heard that she's allergic to the funniest thing. She's allergic to people running widdershins. Can you imagine? One of the other horses is like, I'm pretty sure that someone just made that up. Well, someone running widdershins. Widdershins is basically running in a circle.
Isn't it a specific direction?
It's a specific circle. I believe that it is clockwise, but I'm not entirely certain.
There's turnwise and then there's widdershins.
I feel like it's counterclockwise, but I can't say I'm sure.
I'm not going to give you any hints on this one if you guys don't know.
Okay.
They also say they mention Skibatha. That's Granny Nightshade. Oh yeah, Skibatha. She lives in a dead old hollowed out tree in a big forest. And one of them says, and Endolin, she lives in a mountaintop theater. And one of the other ones says, yes, she has wonderful plays that she puts on. Another one says, wonderfully terrible. Hags have no sense of art. And
what was Granny Nightshade's name again? Sorry to interrupt.
Skibatha Nightshade. Although the horses call her Granny Nightshade. They almost see themselves as like her weird like children in a way. They have like a reverence for her, even though they're telling you all this information about her. It's almost as if they don't think that you're much of a threat to them. And they haven't talked to anybody in such a long time that it's just like everything's coming out.
To be fair, we're probably not much of a threat.
The last thing that they tell you when they're speaking of Endlin is you hear one of them say, I heard that Endlin, that she's seen her own death. And another one says, oh yes, during an eclipse. And another one says, an eclipse? Really? Well, like an eclipse of the moon or the sun? And
an eclipse of the heart.
Eclipse of the heart. But it must be a total eclipse of the heart.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And that's the stream. Thank you, folks.
I think that's about all that they can tell you. They tell you that there's 3 realms, hither, thither, yon, and that these hags apparently have split up Zybilna's realm between the 3 of them. And apparently they were sisters to Zybilna at some point.
So,
Very interesting.
Prismere is the overall realm, and then these hither, thither, and yon are 3 sections of that realm. Got it.
Yes.
They split up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like 3 counties or provinces or whatever you want to call it.
And what was the name of the... Sorry. What was the name of the toad hag again? That took my dreams. What was it?
Bavlorna Blightstraw.
Bavlorna?
Yep, Bavlorna.
That's a terrible name. I love it.
And the Lornlings are her thieves. They're little versions of her. Apparently she can create like little copies of her and send them out to do her bidding.
So hither is the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what I got? Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is this hither, thither, and yon?
Thither is the second realm that's under the rule of Skibatha, Granny Nightshade. And yon is under the rule of Endolin Moongrave.
Okay.
My notebook is starting to look like Tana's board of like conspiracy theories and yarn and tax and just being like question marks and circles.
We might have to have like an entire...
There you go.
we might have a session where this is all just laid out, and you're just like, all right, and here is where this is happening, and then there, and it's like flip a couple pages.
And Granny Nightshade, her lair is the one in a tree, a hollowed out tree.
Yes.
Who are her people?
Okay.
Her people, they don't really know much about Granny Nightshade. They do a little bit, actually. I mean, they were made by her, but they were made here in the carnival. They know that she makes toys. She's some sort of weird toy maker and construct like enchanter.
Okay.
And the Sow Pig, the girl that I
Works
keep
for
on
her.
running into, is
Sow
her.
Pig works for Granny Nightshade.
Now, the horses mentioned a weird memory thing for Granny Nightshade, and Bavlorna's allergic to people running widdershins. What about Endolin? Do they know anything?
You saw her death
about
in a
her?
dream during an eclipse.
Yeah, that's the eclipse, the total eclipse.
Okay.
And the last name of Moongrave does not spell good tidings.
No.
Why that?
Well,
Why does that not spell good tidings?
Well, Seluna is the goddess of the moon. It's perhaps I'm looking too far into it, but being killed during an eclipse when Seluna's power is at its weakest and her name happens to be Moongrave, I feel like there's something more than coincidence there, but I can't be sure.
Mm.
That's
She underlines a few things in her.
smart.
That is interesting. Well, you've been very helpful, unicorns. I hope this paint job that my Sophia friend here gave you is to your liking. You look a lot more handsome. Quite dapper.
oh, thank you. We do look awesome, don't we? And Pride is like, yes, we do. Almost as good as new. Thank you so much.
Good for you.
No,
Oh, thank
you. Wow.
Well, you're welcome.
You've been the most helpful people, objects, toys. What do you prefer?
But call us
Beans?
unicorns or call us by our names.
Unicorns. Okay. Yes, you've been the most helpful unicorns we've ever met.
Well,
Been the
good.
only
No lie
unicorns
there.
I've ever met.
Well, we're not really unicorns, but for the sake of now, yes, we're the greatest unicorns you've ever met. And will ever meet.
I give Moss a hug.
Ma's like, oh.
As we're
Give 'em all
leaving,
some
I'm
money.
like, I got you, Bold. I see you.
Bold kind of gives like a little bit of that bow, like that horses have been trained to do, or like the one foot comes forward and the other one is like half bent.
Someday I'm going to ride that unicorn.
Which looks like a toy, like next to you.
Dawn, did you want to stay and ride once the ride opens back up again? I mean, we can.
Nah, it's okay.
I mean,
If
we
you
could
want to ride
but-
now, you could, Bold says.
Got all night, right?
And does like a little canter in place. I think I'm strong enough to carry you, big man.
All right, let's go.
All right, Thorn hops on, and Bold is like, oh, all right, I got you. No problem. I can do this.
Do you need me to lay across too?
No, I can handle it. And Pride is like, I think you've got the wrong name there, sir. Or maybe you've just bitten off more than you can chew. And as you're kind of like sitting on, and do the rest of you jump on as well? Like they're kind of
yeah.
all of you are invited at this point by the different unicorns. They're like, hop on, we'll take you around.
I get on
totally
top of
hopping on Moss.
Stitch.
On top of Stitch. All right. Who else is choosing what?
I'm riding Moss, of course.
Maz, Sam,
Fortune for me, please.
Fortune. All right. You hop on
That's
before. Yeah, it's all somewhat fitting in a way. You all hop onto these different unicorns, and they begin cantering in a circle, and the carousel begins to go, and some music begins to play. And Diana, who was kind of like trying to like keep the crowd like happy, kind of glances over her shoulder, and for the first time, you see her like smiling as the carousel is turning, and you're all having a good time, and the horses are cantering and kind of hopping about. Even the one that's carrying Thorn is giving it its best shot, trying to not look like it's struggling. Yeah. Just a little hop. I can do this. Keep going. Don't give up.
Can I kind of try to jump from like unicorn to unicorn on this carousel as we go around, cheering, getting the kids hyped up, being like, "It's back on! It's
sure
going!"
Give me an acrobatics check and then a performance check. If you make the acrobatics check, I'll give you advantage on the performance.
Ooh, yeah! All right.
Don't make the acrobatics check.
If you don't make the acrobatics checks, don't even worry about them.
Come on, kids, we're going. Oh, could this be athletics?
And then all the parents in the crowd are like, "Don't do that."
I'm a bad example.
Exactly.
All right. I don't suppose I could do athletics instead of acrobatics.
I feel like this is more of an acrobatics thing, but let's do athletics. Let's do athletics. If you're jumping from one to the other, that'll work.
In pole vaulting.
Yes, dirty 20.
All right. You probably even would have made it with the other one. So you leap from one to the other, and give me your performance check and tell me what you say.
All right. This one's harder.
You can roll with advantage because you've made the athletics check.
All right.
You're probably getting a little bit of help from Thorn, who's just like this massive, and Sam and everybody else that's on here. Okay, what did you do?
9.
9.
Oh,
okay,
God, with advantage.
With advantage. All right, so
I rolled 9 twice. It was like it's a 9.
It is a hard 9. You do your best to try to rile up the crowd and get them excited, but mostly you're just seeing like parents who are just seeing like you doing the thing they tell their kids not to do. And even Diana is kind of like she's like looking at the crowd and back and forth. So it doesn't quite have the effect that you want, but you do make a little bit of a spectacle of yourself.
Pointing at the rules board, like no jumping from horse to horse.
And then she starts slowly lowering the height for the ride limit or something. All right. So unfortunately you didn't get everybody super excited. You kind of had a little bit of a mixed bag there. Eventually the carousel comes to a stop. You guys hop off. You hear Bold groan a bit, Thorn, as you.
Oh my God!
Yeah, come back anytime.
On Bold some more.
Yeah,
good unicorn.
Could we get a smaller child for this one, please? All right.
Yeah. What do you do now? So as you kind of like make your way off, and Diana is bringing more people in, and the ride begins to get going. She says, "So did you find what you were looking for? Were they able to help you? I heard them talking, and they seem happy."
We discovered a good many things. Not quite what we need now, but I feel like it will be very useful down the road for us.
Well, good. I'm glad that they could help you.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Of course. And what will you do now?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? I had an idea, which, So, Diana, there have been a few people that we have met, such as yourself, that have been helpful to us in sort of nudging us in different directions of where we might go to ask the right questions. I have an idea, if my friends are amenable to this. There are creatures that sometimes wander the carnival, and they, I think, are largely responsible for some of the things that go missing.
She nods slowly with a very sort of serious look in her face, but she doesn't say anything.
We need to find one, and we need to follow it back to wherever it goes.
It might be a bit of a tricky game that you're proposing.
Oh,
Some things here in the carnival can be treacherous. I don't know if I can help you with this sort of thing.
All I'm asking is that, should you see anything, just let us know.
Well, I'll think about it.
Appreciate it. But no,
She
you
has-
can't do much.
Go ahead and roll an insight check, all of you who are listening to this.
Sure.
7.
13?
13, anything above a 13?
16.
16. The 13 actually is enough as well. Both Tana and Sylphira. What was that, Thorn? What did you get?
6.
6. All right.
Dice did not smile.
All right. Sylphira and Tana, you notice that that Diana is getting sort of that look that some of the other Witchlight hands get when they're sort of pressed for information they're not supposed to give. There's something else behind it as well. Like there's a fear. She knows who you're talking about. You're talking about thieves of the carnival, the ones that are connected to the Hourglass Coven, and it's obvious when you're sort of giving this description of who you're looking for that she knows what you're talking about, and she's pretty uncomfortable about that. And it might not be for the same reasons. Like she's made this deal that she can't talk about things, but this is more like a personal sort of fear that she's feeling.
I reach out and gently touch her arm and say, "What did they steal from you?"
They didn't steal anything from me. And she tries to like say something, and then she just starts like kind of choking a bit, like whoa. And when she pulls her hand away, you see that it looks like almost like maple syrup or something has like come out of her mouth and her nose. It's like this weird like blackish like goo, and she kind of turns away quickly and like away from you and starts kind of wiping it away. And she's like, I can't tell you anything. I can't talk about it.
I think that just spoke volumes.
She turns to look back at you after she's sort of cleaned herself up, and she says, "One thing that I can say is that I'm not what I seem. Many think that I'm a centaur, but I am not. I was a human once. And this is what happens when you get too close to certain things. You delve into magics that you shouldn't mess with."
Were you asking similar questions to what we've been asking?
No, I had my own reasons. Things that I wanted, things I was looking for, things I had lost, but they weren't the same.
We understand.
That's
Thank you for all you've done.
That's true of some others too, right? Didn't the monkey, or what was his name, Ernest? He
Yes,
said
that's
he
right.
used to be a person.
Oh, yes, Ernest, that runs the Calliope. I think his story is different, though, unless I've heard it differently. He encountered a leprechaun, and after a night of drinking, apparently switched bodies with his monkey. I don't... Unless that story is a fabrication, I think what happened to him is different than what happened to me.
I mean, who can tell with monkeys, really?
Are there others, you think, here in the carnival who something similar happened to them as to you?
There might be a few others. Most, they don't talk about them. And there's many reasons why.
I can see that.
We'll go forward carefully. Don't worry.
And she does look worried about you, even though she's nodding. Be careful. Be careful what you're looking for.
It's my middle name.
Oh,
Can I
knock
give
it
that?
off, Sam.
What?
Wait, is it?
I don't know. Could be.
Oh, orphan humor.
Too soon?
Too soon.
Oh, man.
All right, orphans, where are you going next?
That's a good question.
We got a crown to win.
We do have a crown to win, so let's go find a place that needs joy and put Sam in there.
All right. So as you're thinking about this and trying to figure out where to go, we'll say that you start kind of wandering the carnival looking for, something that catches your eye. And something catches you first. You see moving through the crowds as you're leaving the carousel, the sort of drab gray form of Candlefoot, the mime that you guys had helped at the Hall of Illusions a short while ago, and he's waving to you and saying, "Hey, hello, over here."
Candlefoot, good to see you again.
Yes, it's good to see you too.
Good to hear you, friend.
Good to be heard. I met with my girlfriend just recently, and I was telling her about you and how you'd helped me and got my voice back, and I explained everything to her, and she wanted to know if she could meet you. And I said, well, you've already sort of seen some of them. They were at the Big Top Extravaganza. In fact, she saw you, Sam, and the big fellow there when he was, and you, Sophia, right? Is that your name?
Yes. I blush in embarrassment thinking about my mediocre, sad song in the middle of a carnival.
Candlefoot says she especially wanted to see you. She'd heard that song before, a long time ago. She was very interested in speaking with all of you, but especially you. Something about that song, it touched her.
I have known that song to be in my family for several generations at least. Sure, yes, I would love to meet her.
Oh, good. Yes, come with me. She's singing now, but between sets, we'll meet her off near the Swans, and she'll. I'd love to introduce you. Quick, come with me. And Candlefoot leads you off through the carnival, heading back over towards the lake, where a couple of you had seen Palasha, the mermaid, singing before. And it turns out that Palasha, the mermaid, is Candlefoot's girlfriend.
Ooh.
And as he kind of approaches the lake, he points out, at the performance going on, and says, "That's her right there. Beautiful, isn't she?" And he just gives this big smile, and as he does, the drab colors of his uniform, which are like, he wears this it's all grays, and even his skin is like white, and there's like no color in him at all. And as he sees her and this smile comes over him, these colors start to like bloom on his clown like uniform. His wings kind of brighten for a moment and turn like iridescent. And I think this is a good spot to hold off for a little bit of a break. And then we will resume with this meeting with Palasha in about 5 minutes.
All right.
See you guys then.
All right, everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, folks. Yeah. This episode of Misfit Table brought to you by Gelatinous Cube in a Can. Are you tired of calling corpse removal services every time your dungeon is raided by adventuring parties? Are your hands chapped, sore, and filthy from scrubbing grime and bloodstains off the floors, walls, and potentially ceilings of your dungeon like a peasant? Do you have a one-bedroom studio or efficiency dungeon that's too small for conventional arcane cleaning methods? Well, worry no more. Introducing Gelatinous Cube in a Can. That's right, all the acidic cleansing power of a gelatinous cube in a convenient aerosol can. Just shake the can a few times, set the nozzle to spray or stream, point it at that useless mass of flesh that's clogging up your living room, and watch as hours of hard, disgusting work just melt away. Literally, even the worst messes suddenly become a CR0 encounter. Think of all the time you'll now be able to spend plotting, scheming, and engaging in other various forms of skullduggery. Hey, we don't judge. Dissolve your organic material troubles away today with Gelatinous Cube in a Can. Warning, do not apply to any organic material you do not wish to liquefy. Gelatinous Cube in a Can is highly pressurized, flammable, and corrosive. Do not store in temperatures below 60 or above 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not use as body wash, soap, shampoo, conditioner, exfoliant, deodorant, toothpaste, mouthwash, air freshener, laundry detergent, or personal lubricant. Do not apply to foods or beverages. It will not make them taste spicy. Do not apply to family, friends, or pets, unless they've betrayed you. Brought to you by Nerultech, not a subsidiary of Vecnacorp. Wow. Messed up the legal tagline at the end. Good God. Fired. I just lost that gig.
That was amazing.
Bravo.
Oh my
Good
God.
job, good job.
All right, we'll be
I
right
want
back,
to animate that.
Yeah.
I want to make that like an actual commercial.
Or at least
Yes.
some sort of artwork for it.
Oh,
We need like a
yeah.
label.
Totally. All right, folks.
All right.
See y'all
5
soon.
minutes. 5 minutes.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Before we jump back into the story, I wanted to let you all know last week we talked about doing 2 extra events this month because in order to hit affiliate status on Twitch, we need to have 7 days where we stream within a single month. I think we're going to be able to hit all the other metrics, but that's the one we need to hit. So there's 5 Tuesdays in November, so we're off to a great start. But we need 2 extra events, and we would love you guys to show up if this sounds interesting. So we're planning 2. The first one is going to be a behind the scenes about this campaign, Wild Beyond the Witchlight. That's going to be not this week, but next week, Wednesday the 17th. And this is also going to be posted on our website at sunsailorgames.com/misfit table. So yeah, it's going to be a behind the scenes thing. I think all of us will be there. Somebody might not be able to make it, but it should be most, if not all, of the cast. We'll be talking about our characters, talking about the campaign, talking about other projects we are working on or have worked on. Callie will probably do some art. It should be a lot of fun. And we're going to try to keep it not too long, probably 1 hour. So once again, that's Wednesday the 17th. Mark it on your calendars. The other thing, which I personally am super excited about, is we're going to do a one-shot in a setting that is not D&D. So one of our long-term goals with this channel is to do games that are not all D&D. So we want to try out and showcase some other systems. The one we're going to choose first is actually called Blades in the Dark. You may have heard of it. It's pretty big on the internet right now. It is described as the best game for heists, the best tabletop role-playing for heists that exists. And it's set in this decrepit Victorian Gothic city, industrial punk, ghosts all over the place, and you play a bunch of scoundrels who are, just struggling to survive, get ahead, make their way on the streets, build their rep, build their faction. And I've been looking through some of the rules, and the innovations it brings really are very cool. I'm super excited to try it out. And I will probably be DMing that one myself, which I'm also excited about. So that is going to be probably Thanksgiving weekend. We reserve the right to change these dates, but the current one we're looking at is Saturday the 27th. Probably a daytime campaign, something like noon to 4, 1 to 5, something like that. So once again, those will be up on our website once we have everything totally finalized. And we would love to see some of you there. Hopefully, I hope you'll be able to make it. That's all.
All right, awesome. Any
Everything
other
you just described about that setting is amazing. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
all
Blades in
for
the
it.
Blades
And
in
the
the Dark.
15-year-old goth in me is like, yes.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's pretty crazy. Blades in the Dark is like it's weird. It's like post-apocalyptic, but like at the same time, like Victorian, like doom and gloom. Like it's one of the darkest campaign like worlds that I've heard of. There's one other that's worse than that, but this one is pretty like grim and dark.
It's like
Edward
also
Gorey,
like
the tabletop RPG.
It's kind of close to that. And like like Ashton, like you said, it's all about the heist. It's all you're doing is you're pulling off scores. You're just trying to sort of get ahead in this dark city that is just screwed. The world is screwed. It's great. It's a lot. I've seen a couple playthroughs of it, and the way that it runs is just like nothing else. The way you described it, Ashton, was pretty spot on.
It definitely
Can
looks faster than D&D. Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
Can I wear a top hat is my question.
Yes.
If I don't have a prop, I'm not interested. Like Chad's ahead of me.
Chad's already got it.
Come in full cosplay. Like,
Just
if
go
we
for a
wanna
bowler.
do
Get a bowler instead.
Victorian goth outfits for this, that would be
Love
yes.
it. Yes.
Ooh, I like
That
it.
would work too. Chad's gonna come back with like 3 other things.
Yeah, I mean, we're nerds. We got costumes. We got the things.
Oh, he came back without hair this time.
It's a good costume, Chad. Good luck on you.
Don't worry, I'll work something out.
All right. So back to this game. Right now is Witchlight time. It is in the game. It's about let's say about like 2 o'clock or so in the morning. No, a little later than that. Maybe closer to 3, because the Big Top Extravaganza takes about an hour, and then happens at midnight. You've done a few things since then, and now you're headed over to Silversong Lake, which is where the merfolk Palasha does her performances, where she sings and animates the water of the lake during her performances. Candlefoot is with you. You watch her go through, the end of a performance that she's giving, and as it wraps up, and her fishbowl drops back down into the water, and the lake calms, and the crowd begins to disperse. Candlefoot grabs you and pulls you kind of off to the side to some trees where you can see like the lazy river that comes into the lake in one side and then leaves in another, kind of twists off through some trees. As you make your way over there, the grass sort of squishing under your feet. It's almost like a picnic area. It's very calm over here. It's not a whole lot of carnival goers here, though, because on the other side of the lake is where the festival eating grounds are. So most of the people that are hanging out over there. This is very quiet, with the exception of the occasional swan gondola that goes by with, carnival goers being pulled by these giant swans. You're there for not too long before there's a ripple in the surface of the water, and you see this blue form of this merfolk that you have seen before now a couple times in the lake, and then in the Big Top Extravaganza. She's got, like I said, like blue skin and sort of like these almost like she's got fins, but they're sort of like streamers that are kind of attached to her. They're like purple and iridescent. She's got like long pointed ears. She looks almost elven in her features as she pulls herself up to the shore and smiles at Candlefoot. And you see Candlefoot's his face lights up again as he sees her, and he says, Palasha, I brought them here. You can see them, right? This is the one that you asked for. Her name is Sophia. And Palasha, looking at your group, says, "I'm so thankful that you helped Candlefoot, and I feel so terrible at the way that I treated him earlier. I did not know that his voice had been stolen. I just assumed." And she kind of gets a little like forlorn. "I made a mistake too. I shouldn't have assumed that he was being cruel, because he never is." And she smiles over at Candlefoot again, and you see like his wings kind of flutter a bit and color return to them. And then she turns to your group and she says, I heard you sing, Sophia, and I saw the others performing, and you all did fairly well. I don't remember seeing you," she says to Tana. Are you not a performer with your friends?
And I got other talents.
What sort of talents?
I'm actually not bad with a sword. I've been practicing.
Can you swallow one?
No. Is there somebody here who can do that?
Well, we had one, but he retired. But swallowed one a little bit too deeply.
A little too much iron in his diet.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sam.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah, I got other talents. I mean, I'm not bad at knitting, and I can can a good pickle, and I know a good recipe for a hot dish.
Well, those are worthy talents, but I see now why you didn't take the stage.
Yeah,
Sort of
it's
a
not
long
really
performance to pickle something, isn't it?
yeah, not really. But your performance, I heard, was beautiful from Thorn and Sam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been singing here at the carnival for years, and I do enjoy it so much. And I'd like to thank you for helping Candlefoot. Now that he's back to the way he was, it's almost as if like new life has been breathed into our relationship. And I wanted to give something back to you. And the only thing that I really have is my voice, and I've trained it for many, many years. And Sophia, I heard you sing, and I thought perhaps I could help you. I've heard that song before. I know how to sing it. And I saw that you looked embarrassed and worried when you sang it. I think all you need is a little confidence.
Yeah, well, music is always something that I've tried, but it's not something I've had a lot of time to spend practicing. I just play and sing those songs and lullabies to try to remember my family.
Do you sing them to yourself, or do you sing them to others?
Mostly to myself. Occasionally to others if they're grieving or they can't sleep.
You need to sing to others more often. That is one of the keys. When you sing to yourself, one tends to sort of draw their voice in. They're not singing. They're not expressing. They're not projecting it. They're not performing. And music is meant to be performed.
I suppose you're right. What would you suggest?
Well, sit here on the shore with me for a while. I have time until my next performance. I'll give you a few tips. Perhaps we can bring something out.
Thank you. That would be wonderful.
Good. And Candlefoot says, well, I need to get back to the Hall of Illusions before I get fired. You two, all of you, actually, stay here, have some fun, and maybe I'll see you later.
Yeah, maybe.
Bye.
And then he kind of does like this thing, and guys like kind of waves. Does a couple of like miming things where he like slides himself away from you guys and slips through the trees, and basically is like skipping off, kind of behind the stalls to get back to his post, which he's probably been gone from longer than he should. And for the next 30 or 40 minutes, Elisha spends like all of her time giving Sophia tips on how to sing and how to project and help you basically train your voice a bit and bring things out that you didn't know were there. Does anybody else want to do anything in that time?
Yeah.
Or do you just sit and listen? Oh, Sam's got something.
Well, I'm sitting there listening to them sing, and I would assume at some point they're like working on, some stretch of a song, and I would just want to start whistling the harmony.
Give me a performance check. And Sophia, roll one as well. Let's see if any of this is sticking. I saw that smirk.
One.
Oh. You were so excited, I thought you were going to say the opposite.
Oh, that launched all the way off the desk. Wow.
No.
I got a solid 7.
A solid 7. All right. This is going to take some work. And about 30 minutes in, she's like, "Oh wait, hold on," and she says, "Sam,
Yep,
whistling's good. I like the enthusiasm, but let's try something a little bit different. Maybe just I don't know, maybe some tap a beat. Let's see how that goes.
Sure. Yeah, I can. I've got rhythm. Yeah.
All right, let's give it one more shot.
Can I give myself guidance?
Sure, you can. Why not?
Luna, help me do my family justice. Oh, that's good.
9.
I got a 19.
19. So after sort of resetting a bit, Sam is still kind of he's playing a little bit of a beat, but it's not super catchy, but it's enough to sort of highlight Sophia. And Sophia, you managed to get out this part of this song in like a register that you've never been able to sort of manage before, and you feel like her teaching has helped you quite a bit, as well as you feel like your goddess is kind of looking down on this and is pleased as well that you are evolving, that you are trying something new, that you aren't just singing to yourself, and maybe like maybe it was a little bit of self-pity before. I don't know. Do you think was Sophia wallowing at all in the last 8 years?
If she was doing it very quietly and privately, because she's also, her line of work is helping people grieve and deal with the passing of people. So for a lot of it, she probably has to put her own processing of her own experiences aside to help others.
Well, then maybe for a moment, you kind of let that go and just allow yourself to be in the moment, just about you and the song and your friends here. And 19 is nothing to smirk at. That's a pretty good roll, especially with you guys with a level like this. And you finish this lesson on an upbeat tone. And she says, at the end, I must get back to my venue. I have another performance coming on, and I can't let the crowd wait too long. I think you've done well, Sophia.
Thank you. I wiped some tears from my eyes. Thank you, Palasha. Thank you.
Of course. Thank all of you again. It's the least I can do for what you've done for me and for Candlefoot. And
so how do you guys? You know what? Never mind.
She glances kind of back over her shoulder as she's slipping into the water. She says, "You've asked that before, and I won't answer it this time either."
How do I?
Sam!
What? Inquiring minds want to know.
Your voice is beautiful.
All you see is some bubbles as she slips away under the water and zips off back towards the lake.
That Candlefoot sure is a lucky guy.
You have about an hour or so now before the end of this night comes and the crowning of the Witchlight Monarch is going to happen. What do you want to do in that time?
All right, well, we've got to get one big crowd thing going. So I think, and I'm just going to run up to Thorn, tag, you're it, and run off into the crowd.
Oh.
Oh my God, Thorn, don't lose track of him. We might never see him again.
Oh no. I go
Sam?
tearing off after Sam.
Same.
Oh, can I really quick, can I try to tap him as he goes by, like as I'm like trying to like stop him?
Trying to stop Sam?
Just try to touch him, and if I'm able to, I'll describe what I do if I'm able to make contact.
Roll both of you roll an initiative check, and just to see who goes quicker.
Okay, it's going to be him.
Never know. You never
16.
know.
16.
10. So you reach out, and he slips away super fast and is off in the crowd. All you see is his wings just sort of like flapping behind him. And Thorn in hot pursuit. Tana after Thorn. Sophia, you find yourself at the shore, empty-handed.
Hands still outreached.
Yeah. There was like a little bit of like flicker of light on my fingertips because I was just going to cast light on whatever I touched as you ran by.
Now it's just on your hands. You had a glowing hand.
Sophia.
Coming. Clomp,
All right.
clomp, clomp, clomp.
The group of you run off into the carnival, trying to form an epic game of tag. Sam, give me a persuasion check to see if you can gather up some of the people into this, into the spirit of this.
Can I help
And anybody
with that?
Oh yeah, I was going to say anybody that's trying to help can do the same.
18.
Nice.
Ash, be careful who you tag. You might crush somebody.
I gotta be careful. 16.
16. What about Tana?
Oh, nice. 14.
And Sophia?
Was this a performance check to get people into the game of tag?
It can be either performance or persuasion.
Persuasion. Okay. I'll go with persuasion. Come on, everybody. Come join this rousing game of tag. Natural 20! Lost by 25.
Finally a good roll from Sophia as you run off into the crowd.
Mermaid made your confidence go up, I would think.
That must have been the mermaid.
That's advantage on all charisma checks now, right?
No.
No.
So you run off. You guys end up sort of weaving your way through the carnival. Sam, you've picked up very quickly that crowd of kids that were kind of, mobilized around the carousel before. They see you as you come running by, and they get involved.
And I start whistling because I told them to listen for the whistle.
Okay. And you start whistling. Now, give me a performance check, Sam, and roll with advantage since you've got the backup of like your crew here.
So that's either a 14 or a 7.
14. That's going to be that's good enough. Your whistle is loud enough that you gather more of these kids in, and there's just like this sort of swarm of people chasing you. Give me an acrobatics check, and I'll roll an athletics check, and I'll just see if any. I'm going to roll a handful of them and see if any of these kids can catch you.
Just Sam, or should we all be rolling these?
Sam is it right now, so you guys can roll as well. Roll acrobatics or athletics.
Thorn's it. I tagged him.
Thorn's
I'm
it?
actually it at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
so
actually, what I did want to do was slow down enough so that Thorn can catch up to me
Okay.
to transfer the tag, so that they can see like it's part of like he comes up, tag, you're it. I'm like, all right, I'm it.
all right, Thorn, give me an athletics check.
My eyes go really wide as I run from you. That is an 18.
All right. Thorn just barrels off, and like a few people kind of just are sort of knocked out of the way as he runs.
No, I'm being careful. I'm being really careful.
People are still kind of like, there's no way to be careful when you're a bull in the china shop. So Sam is now currently it then, right? So Sam has been retagged. The other kids are kind of running around willy-nilly. What's Sam going to do with this? Is just going to tag the closest person, or is he going for a specific target?
No, I'm going to make a big play of like going after people and not quite being able to catch them before their little legs carry them away, and like just running around and kind of then maybe go after, like there's always a couple of kids that are like that really want to be it.
Yeah.
So eventually I will focus in on one of them and go after them.
All right. So give me
I'll tag like 3 of them.
give me an insight check just to see if you can spot like those kids, see if you can't choose the right targets, and then give me a 4, and then give me acrobatics or athletics to see if you can't tag them, because they're going to try to avoid you too.
21.
Okay, so one of them actually manages to dodge you, but then you manage to tag another one nearby, and then they're chasing kids, and it just becomes like this viral thing where like people are kind of running around the carnival, like, and there's like suddenly like there's 4 people who are it. Nobody knows exactly how that happened. Thorn is one of them, kind of just like charging off through at one point. A kid comes up and like grabs Thorn and is like, "You're it!" and then runs off into the amongst the tents. Everybody roll a perception check for me really quick.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm retiring this guy.
I got an 11
18.
this time.
15.
15. All right.
Perception was 12.
Perception was
18
12.
for me.
18 for Sophia. Give me 1 second while I check something.
Oh, I miss Aelith. He had expertise in perception. It was like +9 or something.
I just gotta check something real quick. All right, so Tana and Sylphira, both of you notice as this game of tag is expanding in the carnival, you see a girl run through the crowd and tag Sam from behind. And it's only once he's tagged, you recognize that this girl is wearing a pig-faced mask. And Sam, you hear this, "You're it!" And then when you turn around, you see like the shape of this sort of like, ragged tunic disappearing off into the tents. But Sylphira and Tana got a good look. You're fairly certain that was. Looks like we lost somebody real quick. Oh, maybe he's coming right back.
I'm going to undo our overlay until he comes back because it looks super weird when we don't have the right number of people.
I noticed him freezing a little while ago. All right, so
Thanks, Xfinity.
I think here he comes.
There we go.
is it our friend?
Do we have to fix everything now too?
Just a little bit. Here we go.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
All right, somebody dance. Why are there 6 of us?
Oh my!
I'm just gonna leave
my
the overlay off for a second.
What's happening?
Brandon, you're in twice.
I don't know why. This
Pay
is
no
so
attention
weird.
to the technical difficulties.
All right.
Oh my god! So my internet died and it froze and everybody froze and I thought I was in like some weird Zoom limbo space and now there's 2 of me. There's an imposter. There's a doppelganger. Which one is the real me though?
I'm gonna try booting the one that you're. Well, there we go.
Hey,
There we
look at
go.
that.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Thank you,
now-
ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with the technical difficulties. I apologize.
Now I don't have to do the
back.
Macarena. I'm happy about that.
I gotta switch some people around though. Looks like he's in the wrong spot.
Yep.
I don't even
You
know
guys-
if I know the Macarena anymore. Does it come back as a... Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
that,
yeah. No, it comes back.
that, and then the hits again.
Why are we doing the Macarena now? Why are we doing the Macarena now?
I said we had to dance to distract
Yeah,
the audience.
It's gonna quickly turn into the Three
Entertain the
Amigos because I don't really know it. All right,
All right, we're
have
back,
we
we're
repaired? Okay, we're good. So, what I was saying was that Sylphira and Tana had noticed Sowpig in the crowd, and she had run up and tagged Sam when Sam wasn't looking, and then run off back into the crowd.
So that's what I saw.
That's what
Chaser.
Sylphira and Tana saw. And
also
Sam didn't
missed-
see it until she was already running away.
You
I
also
look at
missed
Tana.
her
Ash,
delightful voice, which sounded something like "Tag, you're it."
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it was this
missed
raspy, "Tag, you're it."
Ugh.
That's what Sam heard, and he's flipped around to look, because he'd heard that voice before. He's heard her voice before. And
And I
sees
saw-
her just vanishing amongst the tents.
I'm bolting in that direction.
All right.
Yep. Following.
Thorn!
Oh, all right.
Thorn is way off in a different area. Totally didn't see what was going on.
What? I'm it.
Yep.
Roll initiative checks again, all of you. Let's see who's
Oh, boy.
quicker.
Everyone, huh?
Okay.
14.
14.
Of course.
Good.
13.
9.
Is that 9 for Sam?
Yep.
All right. So Sam, you're a little bit. You're
15.
looking around, what the hell just happened? And you see Sylphira and Tana hauling off in the direction that this girl has vanished in. Thorn, what did you roll again?
13.
13. But you didn't actually see any of this. You only hear them call out after the fact. So you kind of, by the time you turn around,
It's already off, right?
you don't see her anywhere, and you see just the group, your friends, running towards the tents, running sort of like this darkened space.
I'm just following them then. Hopefully they
All
know
right.
where they're going.
She's got a bit of a lead on you as she darts off through the carnival, kind of weaving amongst these kids, and you can hear her in the distance, this sort of raspy laughing, like she's enjoying this, immensely, glancing over her shoulder occasionally to see if she's being chased.
Well, it is a game of tag.
It is a game of tag, and currently Sam is it. Everybody roll athletics or acrobatics. Either one will do.
Added both of those.
15.
All right.
Hannah, hey.
1.
Is it 3 ones? Okay.
And Thorn rolled
15.
15. All right. So Thorn is the only one who's actually kind of far behind. So what happens here is it's kind of interesting. So she quickly ditches Tana and Sam and Sylphira. Like, you guys run off like behind this tent trying to find out where she went, and she's just gone. You're like, how did she get out of here so quickly? Thorn, who was late to this party, he's coming in like, he's probably about 30, 40 feet behind you. And suddenly he skids to a stop as he sees her darting the other direction through like the tents, like going like in a totally different area. And Thorn is now the only one that is sort of like has an eye on her and is kind of within chase. And she kind of glances Thorn's direction, and you see like this smile with these teeth that look sort of yellow and like blackened as she darts off into the crowds. What do you guys do?
I shout for them, and I smile back because we're having fun. And I chase her because I'm also it.
All right, so the three of you hear Thorn calling out. It sounds like Thorn is still playing the game, back behind you, like in a different direction. All of you roll an insight check just to see if you can figure out that Thorn is maybe following what you are.
14.
14, 4.
11.
11. So Sam and Sylphira, both of you kind of recognize something in Thorn's voice, like maybe he knows something. Tana, you're kind of lost now amongst the tents.
I mean, I do say
you continue the
like,
chase.
She's this way. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't just call their names.
Yeah, but it's sort of like they don't know what you're doing because they can't. You're like behind them in a different direction. Like you're not even really in the same area that they were looking at. So Tana sort of gets lost in the tents while Sam and Sophia come running back. Thorn, give me another athletics or acrobatics check to see if you can try to catch up to her. Ooh, that's gonna be hard.
21.
21. So you go running through the carnival. You leap over a couple kids, like with this giant, feat of strength. You end up like just vaulting a few kids who are like, in like slow motion as you're like flying over their heads. And you manage to, at first, gain a lot of distance and close the distance on Sowpig, and you're catching up. What about Sam and Sylphira? How did you two roll?
The new athletics?
This is a new one. Yeah, you're a little bit behind. So roll with disadvantage, actually.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Thanks, DM. That went from a 13. Sorry, went from a 14 to a 3.
All right. So Sylphira and unfortunately Sam, both of you kind of end up too far behind Thorn. Thorn is like way ahead. But Thorn, this creature, if she's a girl or something else, managed to somehow evade you, even though you had rolled a 21.
Oh.
She is quicker. She ends up like scurrying like right into a tent and like out the back, and like and just vanishes like kind of near the bubble pop teapot. And you find yourselves like eventually Sam and Sophia catch up to you, and you've lost her. Tana, you're still wandering in a different part of the carnival, like totally lost. Your friends are gone. Give me Tana, give me a perception check to see if maybe you can try to find Thorn, who's the easiest the one to spot.
I'm retiring this dice. This dice is done. All right. Perception, you say?
Yeah.
This dice is also mean. It was a 5.
A 5. Tana, you're kind of lost.
Gosh darn it. Everything looks the same. All these tents have stakes and I gotta walk over them. Dangerous.
You're a gnome. It's like just a sea of knees.
Yeah.
Knees everywhere.
So Sam, Thorn, and Sophia, you guys have gathered near the bubble pop teapot, but Sowpig is nowhere to be found. Thorn, last you saw, she had kind of climbed through a tent, dove out the back, and then vanished, like kind of behind a group of goblins, and then she was just gone.
I'll show him where she came out of the tent and be like, guys, I saw that girl in the pig mask.
Well, all right. Let's just get back to the main crowd, and maybe she'll show herself again. She seemed to want to play the game, so let's keep on playing.
Is there someone likely nearby who's not playing the game of tag yet?
Roll a perception check, all of you, just to see if you can sort of, get a situational awareness.
24.
24.
Nat 1.
11.
Why?
What about Sophia?
An 11.
11. And Tana, roll 1 too.
Oh, okay. I just assumed I was lost.
You are lost, but this is, you might see something. Who knows?
It's a little better. It's a 12.
12. Okay, so not quite good enough. Sophia, what'd you get again? Like a 14?
11.
11.
I mean,
Okay,
no, it was a 14.
no, it wasn't.
I have the 24.
Yes, Sam, you as you're kind of looking around to get your bearings, look maybe if to continue this game, you see framed kind of behind Thorn and blocked at first just by his huge frame. You see slowly rising behind him this bubble that just comes like kind of behind his head, floats up into the air, off kind of over the carnival, and you see staring down at you from the bubble is Sowpig. And she's just got this big smile on her face as she floats off over the carnival and over some tents.
Bubble!
Hold on. Is she within 60 feet?
She is about, let's see. So the top of the bubble pot's about 30 feet. She is, let's say, she's about 40 feet away or so.
Okay. I'm going to hold my pendant for a second and say, hopefully this will help us find her. And I need her to make a DC 13 dexterity save.
All right. What are you casting?
Doing?
Casting Fairy Fire.
Fairy Fire. Okay.
Oh. Nice.
Let's see. She and the bubble begin to glow.
Yes. Thank you, Seluna.
She looks around at it and has like this big wondrous smile on her face. And as she does, she kind of turns and starts running in place in the bubble, and it starts speeding off kind of away, amongst the carnival.
We have to hurry. I can't hold this off for long.
And
all right.
As I'm running, chasing after the bubble, like, everyone, follow the bubble!
Okay,
all right.
so-
I think this is a really good spot to hold off for the night.
Can I do one more thing?
Sure, you can do
I
maybe
have a
one more
question.
thing.
So I was looking for someone to try to rope into the game of tag, right? Who would be a
Yeah.
likely looking person to join the game of tag.
Hmm?
Can I tag Thako the clown? And
He's not here. He's
Okay.
not out inside this area at all.
I thought that would be a good nat 1 result.
It would, but there's very good reasons why he's not out wandering
Fair.
the fair right now. Okay. So yeah, Thorn, you're just looking for people to like. You probably don't even see this until after it's done. And when you look back, you just see this bubble that's like, with flames on it and this smiling strange child inside. And I think, like I said, this is a good spot to hold off for tonight, and the chase will continue next week, same time, right here, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. We will see you next week.
See you
Yeah.
next week,
Have a great
folks.
rest of the week.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah, that too.
Do the thing. Click the buttons. Come back.
Click all the buttons.
Tell your friends.
Bye.
Bye.